welcome back to part 2 of our FNM special where we're talking about some decks. And now it kind of sucks that I'm doing this so late in the season. I probably will be doing this more often, doing FNM geared decks for people. Now this deck is actually pretty cool because it doesn't lose too much from the rotation. It does lose a few things. So of course this is Birthing Pod Rug, and so let's take a look at the full deck and its synergies with each other. Okay, so real quick, we have, of course, Birthing Pod. That's a given. If you don't know what Birthing Pod does, it costs 4, and it has Phyrexian mana, so you can pay 2 life to give it, a little cheaper mana cost for 3. And its ability is 1 and a Phyrexian mana, so you can do that for 1 mana as well. Of course, it just costs you a lot of life. So we're going to put that to side because the deck really, even though it revolves around that, it really revolves around its creatures. Now, to be honest, I'll be candid here. This deck, you're gonna be mulliganing quite a bit, I feel like, because the mana base is really weird and awkward, and you're gonna be. I felt I was short on lands. This is why I didn't give this deck too many opportunities at FNM. But let's start off. First, of course, you have your 1-drops. You're going to notice there's a lot of green sources of lands in the mana base. Okay, so you have your green 1-drops. Birds of Paradise, Llanowar Elves. That'll give you your mana, hopefully. You also have your Lotus Cobras. These are to fix you and to ensure that you're able to hit all your colors. But Birthing Pod really goes over with its 2-drops through 3-drops. Now, all these cards are situational. And the reason you have such a wide variety of different cards is because everything is good in different situations. So you have a Sylvan Ranger for more lands, and a Phantasmal Image, again very good at recurring what's on the board. You have a Seagate Oracle, Cunning Spark Mage, and a Sylvok Replica. These are your 3s. Now, Seagate Oracle is more of keeping your hand going with power. Filtering through things. It's good card advantage. Not the most exciting card. Cunning Spark Mage is very situational. I very rarely fetch him. It might be a fault on my part, but I never really find situations too often where I'm like, oh, I need a Cunning Spark Mage right now. If you want to find something else that fits a 3-slot, you're more than welcome. I don't really care. Sylvok Replica is very good. He's very good at dealing with those problematic artifacts and enchantments, especially against decks that like to play a bunch of artifacts and then kill you with an enchantment. So like the one I showed in my last video. So let's keep going to the 4-drops. And I'm talking about the artifact deck. What is that card called now? I can't remember the name of it. It gives +2/+2 to artifacts, if you don't know what I'm talking about. So here we go. These are the 4-drops. We have 2 Vengevines, a Phyrexian Metamorph, again very good at recurring. Hero of Oxyrich. That guy is so good because there's times where you just get to this board state that's really awkward, and a hero can completely flip it because they might have a lot of 1/1s, such as Cobblade, or that extra damage output from the battle cry is very relevant. And you have a single Obstinate Baloth. Of course, that's for the lifelink, and it's mostly for red decks. For 5, we have Acidic Slimes. Kind of unexciting. I mean, they're very good, and they're very good if you can do them on turn 3 with, say, like a Lotus Cobra, but then they're really there just so you can get to your 2 of Inferno Titans. Now, I don't have much to say about this deck because it's very hard to play. It's very difficult. In terms of other spells, they're pretty simple cards. The other cards we have are 4 Ponders, a single Preordain. You know how I like those kind of splits. I have a single Fork Bolt. And I can't remember the name of this card. It's it's like a threaten instant for 5 mana, but it's got 2 Phyrexian mana. So of course it's a Chinese version in this version that I have. The Chinese versions in this deck. So this is this deck. I think it's fun. I think it's really cool when you start doing some stupid stuff, but difficult. I think the results might not be worth the headache that you get at FNM. But here you go. Here's the version. Hope you enjoy.